Hela province ready for polling. New highway named after Sir William Skates. And CIMC hosts National Development Forum.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining me for Thursday's news. Hela election manager John Tipa says Hela is ready for polling. Tipa says ballot papers and other election materials have arrived in Tari with all polling venues finalized. Nearly 2,000 officials have been appointed for polling in Hela.
Despite the rise in gun smuggling and lawlessness, Hela province is prepared to conduct its second national elections. Hela election manager John Tipa says a key element to polling is the appointment of officials as preparations progress before polling on June 26th.
There are about 1,295 polling officers that will take part in the process. The appointment has already been done and they're prepared to get into the training.
According to Tipa, Hela has an estimated population of 200,000 eligible voters. He says there are enough ballot papers for the 3 open seats and the regional seat.
We have the ballot papers required. That is sufficient to accommodate all the eligible voters in the province, and we are set to go.
Hela recently completed the first phase of the gun surrender operation. For security reasons, all counting venues have been centralized.
Centralized in Tari because we don't want security personnel, less number of security personnel here, so we don't want them to be scattered out. That will cause security problems for us. That's why I had to advise the Provincial Elections Hearing Committee that we will centralize the counting in Tari.
So far, campaign has progressed with no major incidents. Hela is scheduled for one-day polling.
As a public servants or election officials or the general Hela at large, we are all looking forward to delivering a very peaceful and safe election for our province.
Jack Lapave, Junior National, EMTV News, Goroka.
Electoral officials in Western Highlands Province are labelling the ballot boxes for distribution to each ward councils and local level governments. For the first time, the provincial election manager Philip Talapi has allowed candidates and returning officers to witness the distribution of ballot papers. Talapi says the ballot papers are safe and secured with 24-hour security guard.
Today, the electoral officials in Mount Hagen started labeling ballot boxes and packing stationaries and materials to be sent to each wards and LLGs in the 4 electorates of Western Highlands Province. Candidates, ROs and their AROs have also witnessed the allocating of ballot papers. The provincial election manager, Philip Talapi, says this is to allow transparency in the transferring of ballot boxes so that candidates can expect the same amount of papers distributed to be returned and counted.
They will start moving. The materials, we are packing them electorate by electorate and then into the wards and into the LLG. So we're just preparing everything so that we'll just get them and distribute to the teams as soon as the polling day.
All the materials needed for the polling and counting have arrived, except for scrutineer appointment forms and scrutineer cards. However, Talapi said all the materials needed, including mobile phones for the officials, have arrived and training of polling officials will start next week. Western Highlands Province will cast their votes on July 4th.
Blast all police, army want them. Blast up night sun one and blast up all ballot papers and save in cello. This like container where we black at 3 blood lock where army hold him, police hold him, and me hold him 1 blood lock so that me safe next time. Then me play well him and double here so that I'm well so that ballot paper I'm safe stuff.
Talapi said by now voters should know who to vote and be ready. He said polling will be fine for the other 3 electorates in the province, but his biggest attention is for Hagen Open electorate.
Only the problem is with the Hagen Open that we might have a bit of problem. with candidates and supporters.
Telepi is expecting trouble during the counting and polling for this electorate, but said security will also be tight in those hotspots. The counting for Western Highlands will be at Kimininga Police Barracks. Vasanata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
The Office of the Integrity of Political Parties and Candidates is keen to see if Papua New Guineans will be voting for individuals or parties this year. The Registrar Dr. Alphonse Gelu said their observers are monitoring campaign rallies and speeches and to see if there is a connection between candidates and parties. A large part of Dr. Gelu's work before the election was ensuring voters know parties and vote for parties.
The relationship between political parties and government is there. But the relationship between the people and the political parties is not there. And that is the reason why one of the things that we've been really advocating in the last 3 to 4 years is for the political parties to come up with good policies that they can sell to the people, and then the people then will embrace those policies and vote accordingly.
Speaking to
is for the political parties to come up with good policies that they can sell to the people, and then the people then will embrace those policies and vote accordingly.
Speaking to EMTV this week, Dr. Gelu said most voters still don't know the importance of voting for a party.
The main reason why we are doing this in promoting political parties is because it is the political parties that would eventually form the government. So to us it is important that the relationship between the people, political parties and government must be strengthened.
In this year's elections, from a total of 3,340 candidates, more than half of them are independent candidates.
During the election of the Prime Minister, it will be again a numbers game. And the first option will be given to the political party. If it masters the majority, then yes, the nominee will be elected as the Prime Minister. But if it doesn't happen, the organic law also allows, there's a provision in the organic law, that the Speaker then will call the other groups in Parliament to put up a nominee.
And he said a lot more needs to be done by his office and also by political parties themselves.
Political parties were not too visible out there in those rural areas that they visited. It is more about candidates talking about themselves and very less on the policies of their political parties. So that is something that we are now seeing, and we really want the kind of practice to change.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
The number of women candidates running as independents in the elections are higher than those representing a party. This despite financial incentives to parties to field more women in election. Registrar of Political Parties and Candidates Dr. Alphonse Gelu said this is something they have to continue to work on.
The total number of women contesting seats in this year's election is 167. This is less than 5% of the total number of candidates this year. Of that, 106 are independents and only 61 are representing parties. The party with the largest number of women candidates is Pangu Party with 8 women, Triumph Heritage Empowerment Party and Social Democratic Party have 5 women each. In the organic law on the integrity of political parties, there is financial incentive for parties to field women candidates.
A provision in the organic law which states that a woman candidate that scores more than 10% of the primary votes will be refunded election expenses, but it will go to the political party that endorses her. So that's the reason why we came up with it to encourage political parties to endorse more women candidates.
The UNDP has a program to empower women candidates. Julie Bukekun, who heads this program, said yesterday on Your Vote 2017 that parties want winning candidates.
Talked to the women candidates who contested. We talked to media and the political parties. So we asked them, why is it that you don't support women? And they said, no, it's not that we're against women, but are they a winnable candidate? So that's the thing, which is, I think, a fair notion from them. So for the women, we're saying there are benefits to join a political party, to be under the banner for fundraising and so forth, but you need to know how to get into the party, either as a member or working your way up to an executive.
While the number of women candidates is still low, there has been a steady increase over the years, and this year, Papua New Guineans do want to see women candidates succeed.
No supposed me vote, but me voting one from mama.
In the other parts of the world, all plenty, all president, all prime ministers, and most of them, why not us?
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
When we come back, the opening of the Sir William Skate Highway. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. The new 9-mile to Badihagwa Road in Port Moresby was named this morning after former NCD Governor and People's National Congress founder William Bill Skate. NCD Governor Poes Pakop, who officiated at the road opening this morning in Port Moresby, named the road Sir William Skate Highway. Pakop said this infrastructure is part of NCD's transformation to be an international hub of the world.
The 9-mile to Badihagwa Road in Port Moresby was named the Sir William Skate Highway in a ceremony held this morning at the Gero Runabout in Port Moresby. Sir William was the governor of NCD for 3 terms in Parliament and founder of the current People's National Congress Party, currently under Prime Minister Peter O'Neill.
On behalf of the family, for this highway to be named after my late father, late Sir William Skate. I thank the governor for his vision and for his action.
Those present were Governor Poes Pakop, Sports and International Events Minister Justin Chechenko, Health Minister Michael Malabak, NCDC officials, dignitaries from the Chinese Exim Bank, Chinese ABBA engineering officials, and invited guests. PM O'Neill was unable to make it. This 24-kilometer road was constructed by contractor Chinese ABBA Engineering at a cost of 318 million kina funding acquired from the Chinese Exim Bank.
Despite of these challenges, I report back to government and stakeholders that we have managed the project to a top quality finish without any cost overrun or variations, and finished the job within the contract cost of 318 million.
Construction work commenced in 2015, but there was delay in sections of the road at Tasion Barracks and Baroni villages. Governor Pakop thanked the government for securing funding for this world-class infrastructure, which will cater for the increasing population living in NCD.
Population of our country is going up 10 million. People are looking for opportunities. Business are looking for a place to invest. Residents have to have land to build their house. Business houses have to have access to their markets and ease of transportation.
This is part of Governor Pakop's dreams and aspirations to transform NCD into an international hub to cater for international events like the 2018 APEC Leadership Summit. Sports and International Events Minister Justin Chechenko said this was the result of a strong partnership Governor Pakop had with the government.
The partnership with the Prime Minister and Poes Pakop have changed this city in less than 5 years. In less than 5 years. Because of the working relationship they have together, because of the vision they have together. And with the Governor's leadership of making Moresby the best city in the Pacific, the dreams and realities are now coming true.
He maintained that this infrastructure is important for economic empowerment and expansion of the nation's capital. Eric Rupman, National EMTV News.
Central Province Governor Kila Hauda was in the Abao district this week, campaigning for an educated, healthy and God-fearing Central Province. He expressed concern about the large numbers of grade 8, 10 and 12 school leavers who hang around in the villages after exiting the formal education system.
Central Governor Kila Hauda and wife Lepapa visited the Abao villages of Kapari and Gavuone this week as part of his campaign rally. He was accorded a warm welcome from the local people and his supporters. He shared his vision for the Central Province and how he wanted the province to progress in the next 5 years.
I have a vision.
we must have a society that is based on Christian principles. That we must be well educated and we must be healthy, but based upon Christian principles. That is my vision for Central Province. We must build a new Central Province in Papua New Guinea.
Governor Hauda initiated the Tertiary School Fee Assistance Program and the Overseas Study Scholarships. However, regarding the high number of school dropouts in the province, Mr. Hauda said, depending on the availability of funding, he would like to establish technical and vocational centers in each district.
I don't think I am happy now. In the next 5 years, that is my vision, to set up schools, vocational centers in all our districts, so we can re-enter them and they can re-enter proper employment.
He told the people that unlike other provinces in the country, the Central Province does not have vast natural and mineral resources to generate strong internal revenue. He therefore urged the people to focus on enhancing and equipping the human resource of the province. He said education will also provide the province with key intellectuals like doctors, nurses, teachers and lawyers, to name a few, to strengthen the pillars of development. Deli Waigeno, National, EMTV News.
Mosby Northwest woman candidate Janet Sape has brushed aside rumors that she has withdrawn from contesting the elections. Sape, who has been sick for a while and is now recovering, says this will not stop her from running the race. This is her final election race that she is contesting for and is asking the people of Northwest to give her a chance.
Local businesswoman and president of the PNG Women in Business, Janet Sape, has come out to clear rumors that she has not withdrawn for the race of the Mosby Northwest seat.
I'm back and I'm in the race. I've been only away for 3 weeks and my support has been intact. And I'm campaigning very hard now. And I'm appealing to the people of Mosby Northwest to make a wise decision. We've given votes to men, and men have neglected us. And I see that Mosby Northwest has not been developed.
Having contested unsuccessfully 4 times already, Mrs. Sape is still determined to change the face of Mosby Northwest. She believes the electorate has a long way to go and is still lacking in basic services such as water and power supply. Her main policy is economic empowerment and financial freedom.
Being part of this current government, we have actually brought in roads, infrastructure into Mosby Northwest. But apart from that, the MPs, former MPs would have brought services there, but not enough, I suppose. And when I say, giving the financial freedom is creating more markets for them, and we'll also build up cottage industries to do small goods or small businesses from home as well.
Mrs. Sape has set a platform for PNG women, having become an entrepreneur and now a mentor through a financial literacy program. Marilyn Diaukatam, National, EMTV News.
Central Regional candidate and member of the People's Action Party, Joel Louis Oli, is passionate about issues faced by the people of Central Province. During a recent campaign rally in the Rigo district, Oli said if he gets into parliament, he will push for autonomy for the province. He said he will fight for this because the Central Province has nothing to show for, despite being the landowners of PNG's capital city, Port Moresby.
60-year-old Joel Oli is just one of a total of 26 candidates vying for the Central Regional seat held by Kila Hauda. Mr. Oli is a radical candidate, frustrated that Central Province does not have any major resource or agricultural projects.
General, I know him very well too.
The capital is located in the center of the province.
NCD Guapiale, Aina Airport Guapiale, Aina Haba Guapiale, Aina Hospital Guapiale, Aina Kwano Golemana, Aina Huria Makina Mina go business again. Hey, what is wrong with my people? You want to take everything?
Oli said if he is elected into parliament, his first task will be to push for autonomy for the Central Province.
But all the big projects have gone to Western Province, Octeri, Gulf Province. You go to Millen Bay, they got oil palm and they got tourism. You go to Oro, same thing. What's happening to Central Province?
Yamo Launa is among 38 candidates contesting the Rigo open seat. She, like Ollie, wants to see real change for the people.
We put one lady inside, see whether we can ever change. And I put my hand up to change. I want to change Rigo. Look at Kwikila. It's a clear sign of what kind of leaders we have. Mara.
Deli Waigeno, National, MTV News.
One Nation Party leader and Mosby Northwest candidate Joe Tonde says women and youth issues are a priority for his party. Tonde says his missionary party is dedicated to empowering women and youth through church ministry during his campaign at Gerahu in Port Moresby.
Policy blow me come up reality now PNC One Nation Party policy no policy nothing.
One Nation Party campaign at Gerahu saw a handful of women who turned up to hear his party's policies.
Oh mama, me said next day by Goya, and Goya, I'm through no. And next day go. Now me come up member. Next day where Narbla man Mary where you go and by me by Salim go. Because I'm no new something where me by making all Narbla countries like Fiji, Solomon, all the supporting more poor land from God down below because all human resources there, fixing all human resources there. But when you get in government, you must support more mama people so that all the current go come money come here and kill them go up.
Among them were the 15 fruit-picking women who were recently sponsored by One Nation Party on a fruit-picking tour in Australia. They were pleased to have been supported by a missionary leader who has come to their aid. Many of them are mothers who benefit from the SME sector. They said having received such help from Mr. Tonde demonstrated his determination to address women issues when voted into Parliament. Eric Arupma, National MTV News.
Chief Justice Sir Salamo Injia says he will not be acting as the Governor-General of Papua New Guinea in the absence of Governor-General Bob Dadai. Sir Salamo's comments follow a letter from the GG resulting him to act in his position while he travels to London to be sworn in by the Queen. Mr. Dadai will be out of the country 22nd June to July 7th. The Chief Justice explained in a letter to the GG's office that he has Supreme Court matters listed for June and July and was only informed of the GG's absence on Tuesday. Sir Salamo said that the first person to act in the GG's position is the Parliament Speaker and stated that the Speaker will remain in office until the return of writs, thus he should act in the position. And now looking at our finance news, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.3145 in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.307 $0.4038 Australian dollars, $0.2718 euro and 33.86 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold and copper closed higher, while coffee and cocoa closed the day lower. Palm oil and copper closed the day lower, while crude oil closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 57.11 points lower, the ASX closed at 42.68 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 40.88 points higher. National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. In these challenging times, Papua New Guinea needs to go back to basics to ensure real development. This was the general consensus during the National Development Forum 2017 held in Port Moresby this week. The event, hosted by Consultative Implementation and Monitoring Council, concluded today with recommendations from this forum to be presented to the government formed after the national general elections.
The annual National Development Forum, facilitated by the Consultative Implementation and Monitoring Council, CIMC, concluded in Port Moresby today. The event had included speakers from government, the private sector, as well as civil society to come together to share ideas on different aspects of development in Papua New Guinea. Among the presentations, sessions on the extractive industry, as well as the role of the public service in promoting an honest, compliant working culture, all intended to provoke discussions from those present. According to CIMC Executive Director Wale Siakam, the forum this year was critical as it is during the election period. She says outcomes from this year's event, which will be presented to the new government, must be the start of positive change for the country.
What we're expecting to get out of this is a set of key recommendations coming out of all the processes in terms of civil society, private sector, government participating together to put together key recommendations that the thing is important that can address issues that are affecting them at the different levels, wherever they are, in terms of the communities, villages, wherever they come from, and put that as a National Executive Council policy submission so we can submit that to the incoming government for consideration.
Among forum participants this year, a fairly large number of youth, something which is pleasing for the CIMC in their endeavour to create awareness, especially among the next generation of PNG leaders.
I was very happy to see the quality of presentation from the the generation after me, and yesterday high quality. So there is a hope here, but we want to expand this to the rest of the people of this country. There's only too few of us, so only way is to go through this process, put pressure on better quality education, from the elementary school up to the primary school to high school to the university tertiary institution.
CIMC is to put together the submission, present it to government. Hopefully they'll consider and include that in the implementation, maybe whatever 5-year plan they may develop, the incoming government. We're hoping that that particular document will become one of the bases for them to develop that particular 5-year plan.
Mero Batulo, National EMTV News.
The chief goal of the Bougainville Law and Justice Working Group is to provide to Bougainvilleans the best possible law and justice services. Chairman of the Bougainville Law and Justice Working Group, Kenneth Nane, says they have developed a plan which aims to rebuild law and justice institutions in Bougainville. Fabian Hakelitz reports from Buka.
The Bougainville Law and Justice Planning Workshop was conducted in Buka yesterday, with agencies like the courts, police, correctional services discussing the way forward to improve services in the autonomous region of Bougainville. Mr. Nane says progress and success will be measured against nationally accepted standards.
Aligning resources to we want them, from achieving all objectives in terms of establishing the law and justice agencies.
Their role is to maintain, promote and monitor the delivery of law and justice services and provide advice and guidance to the Bougainville Executive Council and partner national law and justice agencies. This is to make Bougainville a just, secure and free for all.
How we look around into establishing these institutions as per the Bougainville Peace Agreement.
Mr. Nane thanked the law and justice agencies and partners like the Australian government for their support in enabling the creation of the Bougainville Law and Justice Midterm Development Plan 2016 to 2019. In Buka, Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Turning overseas, a former U.S. police officer has been found not guilty of first-degree reckless homicide following the death of another man that sparks days of unrest.
It was a deadly encounter with police over in seconds, caught on an officer's body cam. Here we see former officer Dominique Hagan-Brown pursuing Seville Smith, a suspect armed with a gun. They race around the front of a house to an alley. There you see the gun in Smith's hand. The officer fires the first shot. The suspect tosses the gun. Less than 2 seconds later, a second and fatal shot is fired. Smith dies at the scene. The incident last summer sparking riots in Milwaukee. Prosecutors say Smith was defenseless when shot in the chest. The defense claiming the officer feared for his life, making a split-second decision. Today, a Milwaukee County jury found the former officer not guilty in the shooting last August. The family tonight in anguish over the verdict.
We're not animals. Every time they take a shot, it's to kill you. It's to kill you because a dead man can't talk.
But the police chief says the former officer was vindicated. A year ago, I told the public I saw nothing in the video that was a violation of law or policy.
True Guy Sports is next. Details when we come back.
True Guy Sports.
Welcome to True Guy Sports. High-flying Sparrows have hit a rich vein of form as the Port Moresby Premier Netball competition nears its final stage. Sparrows defeated a resurgent Paramana outfit 44-38 in their round 3 match.
Rowena Jengazova back for Paramana after an elbow complaint that had seen her miss almost 3 weeks of competition would feature for her side, who were hoping to surge back into a final spot after last week's draw against frontrunners the Mermaids. However, it was intuitive play in the third quarter by the Sparrows as they fought hard to find chinks in the Paramana defense. Ravorala would step up in her side's defense as they sought to get physical against the Sparrows. And while Sparrows captain Neritha Adula was outstanding in the center, the midcourt was almost punished for complacency as the experienced Paramana team asserted themselves. Joyce now on point time and again for Sparrows as they held off for a 44-38 point win.
It was, I think we expected it, and I think with Paramana it's always the case. So I think we were expecting it, and we were had to work on that. So yeah, it was very physical today. Yeah,
it was tough, I'd say, but I'd like to congratulate the girls because they played really, really well despite the hard game. So at the end of the day, everyone pushed through.
In the other Tier 1 encounter, Telstars would suffer a crushing loss to Snacks Mermaids. Again experimenting with a young side, Mermaids would introduce Corey Icy and Vanuga Peavy to the big time. Both young players holding their nerves in check against Telstars, whose goal shooter Martha Matuka had reached good form in recent weeks. Mermaids, however, maintaining their dominant run, would extend a 4-point lead from the first quarter into an 18-point win. The final score, 59-41 in favor of the Mermaids.
We had joy, it was a tight game. We went down, but because our girls were injured, but we didn't give up. We came back on the fourth quarter, keep grinding, and we won. So it was just working hard, and thanks to all the girls who put hard work, effort into training, so made it easy for us on the court to execute what we wanted to achieve.
The competition will resume on the 12th of July due to the Rita Flynn complex used for election counting. Jeremy Moggy, National TV Sports.
PNG Touch Rugby has named the men's and women's train-on squad for the 2019 World Cup in Malaysia. The train-on squad consists of 80 members who were selected from the National Championships 2 weeks ago.
The train-on squad is a mixture of both elite and developing players who caught the eyes of the selectors. The selection panel consisted of former Australian Touch board member and coach of the Queensland and New South Wales Touch football teams, Peter Del Monte, former Australian Open men's player Peter Stoddart, and head coaches of the national teams Martin Joffe, Godfrey Luke and Ari Peter. PNG Touch Rugby President Daddy Toka Jr. says the selection was not easy, with over 600 players taking part in the national championships.
The selection process is the first step in the road to the 2019 World Cup in Malaysia. So 80 players stood out during the national selections, national championships 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, we need to trim it down to 42 players. So that'll cover 14 open men, 14 open women, and 14 mixed players. So that's unfortunately how it's got to be done.
That was something attested by Peter Stoddart, who added the depth of talent displayed at the National Championships was outstanding.
We walked around and watched each game, and the talent at the tournament was quite amazing. So I think Touch Football PNG and the players have the potential to better their previous World Cup.
The first camp will be held on the 29th of September in Port Moresby. They will go through different training sessions, workshops and trial matches. 20 members will be cut after the first camp, which will see 60 players continue on their road to the World Cup. Financial support will be an issue for TFPNG as they embark on preparing for the World Cup.
TFPNG will be starting the campaign towards the 2019 World Cup with no government funding and no corporate sponsors. So our goal is obviously to perform exceptionally well again, but we need partners, okay? And we need financial partnerships from the communities, the corporate sector, and hopefully the government again.
Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
To cricket, the women's 40-over division of the Hebo Shield tournament went into grand final today. Since the beginning of the competition 2 weeks ago, Sharks have maintained their dominance. On the other hand, the Piranhas, who were trailing behind after losing 2 matches, have made it to the finals by way of points. Unfortunately, the Diggers bowed out of the run, losing 3 of their 4 matches. Queensland levels the state of origin. We'll be back with the details. Stay tuned.
True Kai Sports.
Welcome back to True Kai Sports. The Queensland Maroons have levelled the State of Origin series after last night's incredible comeback to win 18-16. After last night's win, the Maroons have set up a blockbusting decider in Brisbane in 3 weeks' time.
Person's farewell.
Boyd Cordner led his team out to the roaring sea of blue at the sold-out ANZ Stadium.
Boyd Cordner.
The Maroons were eager to level the series, which saw them post the first points of Game 2 through Valentine Holmes.
That's Boyd. Queensland.
The Blues weren't giving up that easily. Quick hands from Mitchell Pearce and James Tedesco set up a Jared Hayne try to bring them back into the contest.
It's gone away for Hayne. He's over.
Another breakthrough by the Blues saw Brett Morris score in the corner. Queensland's desperate defence could not stop the try-scoring machine. 10 minutes before halftime, Blues sub Jake Trbojevic played a crucial part in their third try. Trbojevic sent Tedesco flying down the middle before passing to Pearce to score. In the second half, Queensland came in strong, resulting in 2 tries from Dane Gagai.
Flick pass, Gagai is over. There it is.
Star halfback Jonathan Thurston sealed their victory with a conversion kick to set up a decider in Brisbane.
It's coming back.
Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
PNG Athletics Union will send some athletes to Fiji tomorrow, while others will travel on Sunday. Yesterday, a number of runners met with the PNG High Performance team to talk about things they should be mindful of, which include recovery, anti-doping and team building.
4 senior track and field athletes who left the country yesterday will be joined by under-18 and under-20 sprint and relay athletes tomorrow, with the next lot of athletes to fly out on Sunday. The under-18 and under-20 sprinters who are leaving for Fiji for the Oceania Championships tomorrow travel to Port Moresby, representing Kimbe, Rabaul, Manus and Lae. The team met with the PNG High Performance team yesterday to go through a few things that athletes must know when travelling overseas, especially when representing the country. Some of the things touched on and covered with the athletes were anti-doping processes, recovery after enduring the competition, resilience and team building. Travelling for the first time with the team will be team coach for under-18 and under-20 sprints and relay team Alan Akia, who believes the team has worked hard over the last few months in preparations for the Oceania Championships.
Under-18 athletes, they'll be taking part in the 400 meters, 200 meters and 100 meters.
In Fiji, the competition categories will cover 3 groups: under-18, under-20 and the Open Division. Some of the events listed for the PNG side will cover 100 and 200 meter sprints, 800 and 1500 meter race, and the relay race for both the men's and women's events. Alan says he is happy with the selection of the team based on their past and previous competition results.
If they've been doing what the coaches have been telling them, I think they'll produce the results that we will expect them to do.
Athletes participating in the Oceania Championships may find themselves representing their respective provinces in the PNG Games and the country at the Mini Pacific Games. Their team coach believes based on their home ground performances, there's a fair chance of at least bagging some medals. Godwin Eki, National, EMTV Sports.
And that ends True Kai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region: mostly fine and windy in Port Moresby, partly cloudy and windy in Daru, mostly fine in Kerma, mostly fine, then chance of evening to night showers developing in Alotau, and partly cloudy with a chance of light to moderate afternoon showers in Popondetta. In the Momase region, morning showers, then cloudy with a chance of a shower or two developing later in Ley, mostly fine, then becoming cloudy later in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine, then partly cloudy in Lorengau, partly cloudy in Kavieng, mostly fine, then becoming cloudy with a chance of afternoon shower or two in Kokopo and Rabaul, mostly fine, then becoming cloudy with a chance of afternoon shower or two in Kimbe, and fine, then partly cloudy in Buka. And in the Highlands region, morning fog clearing, then mostly fine in all centres.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's the news this Thursday, the 22nd of June 2017. We continue our election program, Your Vote 2017, with Neville Choi and Titi Gabi after the news. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.